mubyeyi urifuza guteganyiriza umwana wawe ejo heza, gana mu mashuri ya apejerwa ariyo Lycée de Ruhango-IKIREZI hamwe na Emeru Intwari. Muri Lycée de Ruhango-IKIREZI tubafitiye amashami akurikira: Culinary Art cyangwa se ibijyanye n'ubutetsi, hari level 1, level 3, level 4 ndetse na level 5. Food and Beverage Services tubafitiye level 3, level 4 ndetse na level 5. Tubafitiye kandi accounting cyangwa se ibaruramari level 3, level 4 ndetse na level 5. Tubafitiye n'ubukanishi bw'amamodoka mu byiciro bikurikira: Auto Engine Technology level 3, Auto Transmission and Control System Technology level 4, Automobile Transmission and Control System Technology level 5. Tubafitiye n'ubwubatsi Masonry level ya 3, level ya 4 ndetse na level ya 5. Tubafitiye Tourism ubukerarugendo level ya 3, iya 4 ndetse n'iya 5. Turabibutsa ko tubafitiye n'icyiciro rusange Tonkome. Naho muri Emeru Intwari tubafitiye amashami y'umwaka umwe akurikira: Automotive Technology ubukanishi bw'amamodoka level ya mbere, Hairdressing ubwiza no gutunganya umusatsi level ya mbere, Tailoring ubudozi level ya mbere, Masonry ubwubatsi level ya mbere. Muri aya mashuri yombi tubafitiye abarimu b'inzobere harimo n'abaturuka hanze y'igihugu. Tubafitiye kandi n'amacumbi y'abakobwa ndetse n'ay'abahungu. Abanyeshuri bacu bakora ingendo shuri mu gihugu ndetse no hanze yacu. Tubaha umwanya wo kwimenyereza umwuga mu bigo bijyanye n'ibyo biga. Dukorera kandi graduation abanyeshuri basoje amasomo yabo. Aya mashuri aherereye mu mujyi wa Ruhango hafi ya gare. Ku bindi bisobanuro mwaduhamagara kuri 0788366219 cyangwa se 0722356668. Mwanaduhamagara kandi kuri 0788366213 cyangwa se 0788202282. Mwanadusura kuri website y'ishuri www.apejerwa.ac.rw. Umurimo ukozwe neza utuma batugirira icyizere.
Good morning, student. My name is Jean d'Amour from Lycée de Ruhango-IKIREZI. I'm one of trainer in automotive transmission and control system. So today we are going to continue our module, which is called drivetrain maintenance. So at the first, we have seen the component of drivetrain maintenance, where we have started with clutch system. So as you know, as clutch system, we have seen the definition of clutch system. We have seen also the location of clutch system, so as the purpose of clutch system in automotive vehicle. We have seen also the component which is composed a clutch system. So as definition of clutch system, as we have seen that a clutch system, it is a drivetrain component which is therefore transmitting the engine torque through input shaft to the variable speed gearbox. So have seen also that it is located between the engine and the variable speed gearbox. The purpose of clutch system, have seen that is therefore transmit the engine torque to the variable speed gearbox. Have seen that is therefore facilitate swift free gear shifting. Have seen that is therefore preventing the engine and drivetrain component against overload. So, as the component of clutch system, have seen that it is composed by many components. Ever seen? Have seen that it is composed by the driving component and the clutch mechanism. Yes, as the driving component, have seen that is composed by flywheel, as one component which will transmit those engine torque. Have seen that you have a clutch plate, yes, clutch plate as the device which will transmit the engine torque from the flywheel to the variable speed gearbox. We have seen also the pressure plate, yes, the chassis bearing, clutch fork, are so many. So as clutch mechanism, I have told you about the clutch linkage, master cylinder, the pipe, sleeve cylinder. So I think that you will understand. I remind all those components which is helper to transmit the engine torque to the variable speed gearbox. So today we are going to start a new topic which is called describe the component of manual gearbox. So at the end of this session, the learners will be able to describe the definition. So you will be able to understand what is a gearbox, what is a manual gearbox. We will be able to understand the purpose, why the manual gearbox is located in drivetrain component. So also we will be able to understand the types of manual gearbox. We will see the types of manual gearbox which will be used in auto vehicle. So we will be able also to understand the component which composed one of the type of manual gearbox as constant mesh gearbox. So we will be able to dismount, to disassemble or to reassemble the component of the manual gearbox. So as you see here, you have our gearbox. This is a gearbox. A gearbox, it is one component of the drivetrain component, which is therefore converting the engine torque and engine speed, the variation of engine torque and the engine speed. Yes. So it is also located in those component. It is also located in those components which composed drivetrain component. Yes, between the clutch. Yes, it is clutch system and the final drive So a gearbox, we have three types of manual gearbox. Yes, as you know, those types of manual gearbox. First of all, you have sliding mesh gearbox. So a sliding mesh gearbox is one of the manual gearbox which has been used before while they are inverting or manufacturing the gearbox, which has the many disadvantages comparing with its advantage. That is the reason why it has been converted into other types of manual gearbox. That sliding gearbox, it will take us to take some gears which will we have moving gears and fixed gears, which will help us to transmit the rotation to the other one. It will take one gear and be meshed with other one. So we have also another types of manual gearbox, which is called the constant mesh gearbox. The constant mesh gearbox, you will see how is it work. That constant mesh gearbox, it will work. Always the gearbox, or I said the gears which compose the gearbox, we always mesh it in order to hold or to release the rotation of the speed of otherwise we use a sliding assembly, or in order to mesh those gears by using the clutch fork. So here we have also another types of manual gearbox, which is called synchro mesh gearbox. So here we have one of the manual gearbox that we are going to see how is it work, the component of manual gearbox, and how we can disassemble and how we can reassemble those components. As a student of level 3, you know that you must understand those components for well understanding its operating principle during operation. Yes. So here we have this gearbox. It is composed by the gearbox housing, as you see. Here we have a bear. Yes. We have a shift mechanism which will help us to change the gear by using those levers. Means that there is another mechanism from where the drive is located to this shift mechanism. So we have tail cover that is composed. It means that inside of this gearbox housing, we have some gears and some shafts that you are going to see how is it working and how does it look like. So for well understanding the component which is located inside of this gearbox, you have first of all to see the procedures which will help us to achieve inside of the gearbox. Means that while you are going to disassemble a gearbox, first of all, you have to think about the tools. You have to select where the tools which will help you to remove, to disassemble some component for achieving inside of the gearbox. For selecting the tools, you have to think about the screw, which tight the gearbox. So here I have some tools. Yes, have some tools, have the socket, have the lever, have the span. Yes, the socket, you select the socket according to the number of two screw that is tight the gearbox. So I have them here. I have the cyclips pillar, which is help us to remove some cyclips on the shaft. Yes, I have the racket. So after selecting where the tools, first of all, you have to think about the materials, the consumable materials, which will be helpful to maintain. You have to think about the maintenance of what you are going to do. Yes, as to the materials, you have to have the petrol. Yes, have to check the petrol, hydraulic. You know, to have to lubricate your gears. So as you have to have the material to help you to lubricate or to put those oil on the gears. So we have also the metallic brushes. These metallic brushes will help you to remove some impurities on the shaft or on the housing of the gearbox. We have also the purers and the brushes which will help you to clean or to remove those impurities on the shaft or where you are going to use to clean it very well. Have screwdrivers. Have the racket pry. Yes, racket pry. So all of those materials are being used for removing or for disassembling the component of this gearbox. First of all, you have to see where it can be easy. When you're going to disassemble, you have to see where it can be easy to remove or to disassemble this component. So first of all, do you see this the bear? This the bear. It is tightened with the 40 screw, yes, and you have this cover here. All of those must be removed in order to remove for being achieved inside of this gearbox. So first of all, have to select the tools. Those are 12 screw, and use this one. Have to push here for where connecting those sockets. Yes. So first of all, I'm going to remove this. To remove this. I have to remove this by using the opposition of removing the screw, those bolts. Okay, this cover is well removed. Yes, have to keep where you are bought with its appropriate component. Then after, let us remove the bear, this bear, by using the 40 socket. Yes. So it has removed the bear. Okay, the bear is being removed. Yes. After removing the bear, let us remove this tail cover of the gearbox. Yes. For we're removing the tail cover, I have to remove all those bolts. All those bolts. So if we're removing those, we have to think of our personal safety from preventing it from falling down. Just still high tighten it. So the tail cover of the gearbox is being removed. So after this, have to remove this shifting mechanism. This shifting mechanism, yes. I've changed the socket. Okay, the shift mechanism is being well removed. It's bought. So after this, you have to think about those cyclips here, which is lock this primary shaft. So for removing these or those cyclips, you have to use your cyclip superior. Here I have cyclip superior. Let's turn it around for. Yes, this one, have to see how you can remove it. Can remove it. Okay. It is being removed. This one, this calculus, which is hold this primary shaft. So then after, we are going to remove this housing from those components. So this gearbox housing must be well removed. Okay. So this is one. So those are the internal components of manual gearbox, as I have told you. So you are going to see how those components are measured, their names, their functions, and how they can work from the first gear up to the last one, so as the reverse gear. So for well understanding, let us try to fix this gearbox assembly here on the bench vise. On the bench vise. So it will be better. So let me try to turn around this device for showing you how those components are called. Okay, so this is the internal component of this manual gearbox, as I have told you. So you have seen the external component. Here you have some other components. So this gearbox, I have told you during studying how the clutch system is working, I have told you that the clutch system will transmit the engine torque through input shaft to the variable speed gearbox. That variable speed gearbox that I have told you is this one. The input shaft where the engine torque will pass through for achieving inside the gearbox. This is the one. This the input shaft, or it is called input shaft, yes, or it is also called the primary shaft, yes. So here we have the output shaft, this one. This is the output shaft. This is the input shaft. It means that this is the input shaft from the engine, where the engine torque will pass through the clutch system, and then to pass, the output will be this, which will be connected inside of the final drive. There is called the output shaft or the main shaft, yes. So here we have the counter shaft. You have the counter shaft. It's called the counter shaft or relay shaft. This counter shaft, it is where the input shaft will pass. It will let the torque comes from the engine pass through for achieving to the output shaft. This counter shaft, the gear which you need this shaft is permanent, attached on the shaft. While the gear which is mounted on this main shaft, can be removed. It is where we can count the gears from the first gear up to the last one. So have the bearing. This is the bearing of the primary shaft. Here we have the gears successfully according to the number of gears from the first gear up to the last one. This is the first gear. The gear which is the biggest one in the gearbox. The biggest gear in the gearbox, that is the gear which is called the first gear. The gear which can give us the high torque. The first gear. Have the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. So as the fifth one. So you know that I've told you in the purpose of gearbox. I've told you that it facilitates the idle speed of the vehicle while the vehicle is stationary. I have told you also that it will help us to the reverse, to maintain the vehicle to move backward. The backward means that it will be done with those gear. So as the types of gear which can be inside you have two types of gear inside of the gearbox. We have helical gear, and we have a spool gear. Helical gear, a spool gear, it is the gear inside of the gearbox, which we have. Those are the gear of the reverse. Those are the reverse gears. Those are spool gear. Do you see how the teeth of this gear is? It is totally different with this one. Those are helical gear. Those are a spool. Those are a spool gear. So we have also the shift shaft. We have the shift shaft, means that the shaft which will help us to move right or left while we are changing the gear. We have the shift shaft 1. This is the shift shaft 1, means that this shift shaft 1 will help us to change the gear from the first one to the second one. Means that this shift shaft 1, it is held the shift fork. This shift fork, it is attached on the sliding shaft. This synchronizer shaft, yes. This synchronizer shaft, do you see that it has synchronizer groove. This synchronizer groove is where the shift fork is attached. So do you see that this synchronizer link, this one which is totally different by color with the other tips, it is called the synchronizer link. This synchronizer link, it is therefore holding the gear which is being engaged. It means that whenever we are going to engage the first gear, means that this synchronizer link, it will help us to lock those gear from in order to turn the output shaft. So we have also a second shift shaft. This second shift shaft, it will help us to engage the third and the fourth gear. So this second one, it will help us to. It will also attach on the synchronizer assembly. Yes, means that the synchronizer assembly is composed by this synchronizer groove. Do you see here? And synchronizer link. Those links, I have told you that is for holding the gears in order to engage the third or the fourth gear, depending on the speed needed by the driver, or depending on the torque which will be used which will be used in the vehicle. So those are the second shift shaft attached in those synchronizer assembly. We have told you that is composed of this synchronizer groove and synchronizer link. So here also we have this third shift shaft. This third shift shaft, it will help us to engage the reverse gear. So as you have the fourth shift shaft, which will help us to engage the fourth gear here, which is attached here. It means that you have the first gear at the top gear. The top gear is the highest speed gear, which will help us which will be attached in the vehicle. It means that the top one, the last, which will give us the speed. So, as you see, for engaging the gear, we must have the driver gear and the driving gear. Yes, for we understand the operating principle or the working principle of this gearbox, we must have the driver gear and the driving gear. Means that the driver gear, it is where the torque is coming from. Means that it is the gear which will return another one. And those driving, it will get the speed or the torque given by the driver one, and then turn at the same speed or at the same torque as one is where the torque has come in from. So, as I have told you that the torque will be transmitted by this clutch disc, means that it must be mounted here on the input shaft. Means that the more the clutch disc is turning, means that the more the spring. Do you see this spring is matched with those one inside of the clutch disc? So whenever this clutch disc is turning, means that this primary shaft will be turning also. So if you change the gear, means that if you hold this one like this, means that this gear, it will turn as speed as one of the primary shaft. Means that the torque will be transmitted to this gear of counter shaft, and then this countershaft, it will allow the speed, because this jar it is headed, this countershaft, it is, those jar are turning, it will transmit. This one, it will be the drive, and this be driven means that we will have the output of torque. So those are the components which will be obtained inside of this gear. So after this, I think that every student is well understanding those components and their functions and why is it located inside of the gearbox. So, because if you are still the student of level 3, you must well understanding those components, because whenever you will achieve in level 4, you will be well understanding how to dismount, to disassemble those gears from the shaft and how to can maintain in the model which is called the Manual Gearbox and Transfer Box. So here, in level 3, you know that you must well understanding the component of this gearbox. So, and how you can also mount or reassemble the output component as this housing, bar, and the tail cover, so as shift mechanism, yes. So here, do you see here, it is where it is called the shift mechanism, yes, where you put this component, means that it is where the drive will use for changing gear from the first one up to the top one, so as the reverse gear. So let us try to reassemble those components as I've told you. But before reassembling the component, first of all, we have to clean those components and lubricating them in order to maintain their performance for the previous operation. So, for maintaining, first of all, you have to use the petrol. Have the lubricant as the oil, yes. But do you know that the oil which is used in the gearbox is totally different from this one of the motor engine, yes. So we must use also the blushers. Have to use this blush. So, first of all, have to remove those impurities before lubricating it. So, for removing these impurities, you must use the petrol. Do you see how it is look like? As a mechanician, first of all, you have to think about the maintenance of those devices that are being used. I've told you about the maintenance. I've told you about the preventing maintenance. I've told you about the breakdown maintenance. Also, you know that what called predictive maintenance. Yes. Do you see how our device is looking like? Do you see? Where it is the which is very hard, you have to use this metallic brush for removing them. So, after cleaning this petrol, first of all, you have to wait for a few minutes for being warm, and then after have to lubricating it. So, after being, do you see that it is well cleaned? So you are going to lubricating it for putting some hydraulic oil. Yes. So, it has lubricating by using hydraulic. So, yes, you put the oil inside of all those, inside of the well lubricated, and inside of those, do you see? It is well lubricated. Okay, so I have to put this pin. Put this pin here. Here, this pin which is lock, this fork, okay, means that this shifty fork is being well headed. Yes, do you see? Okay, so after this, we are going to change the position of the gearbox so that you can put its gearbox housing. Okay, do you see? Our gearbox is well headed. So let us try to reassemble this gearbox housing. Do you see? Do you see this space of this bearing? And this one means that this biggest one will be fitted inside of this bearing of primary shaft. So let us try to. Do you see where you have removed the scraps is where described? So as you know, as a mechanician, first of all, whatever you have removed before, it must be reassembled after. So let us first of all reassemble these cyclops. So before removing, starting this one, have first of all clean it. Yes. So that it can be well fitted. Must be well fitted, do you see? Yes. So, before putting this tail cover, first of all, we have to see where it will be attached with this gearbox and applying on it a silicone in order to prevent the linkage. You have to apply a silicone. So, do you see? For where applying the silicone on this smooth edge, you have to use your finger. You have to use your finger. Do you see how the silicone will be applied for prevent the linkage? Okay, let us apply the board as we have removed them. So after the fixing this tail cover of gearbox, so have to fix this gear shifting mechanism. This shifting mechanism, yes. So before fixing this one, have to apply the silicone also. Have to apply also the silicone as a seal. Yes, you know, a seal. So do you see? So use your finger for where applying this silicone on this smooth edge. So it means that this shift mechanism will be well attached on it. Okay, good. Yes. And then after, have to fix its bolt, yes. During fixing those bolts, first of all, you have to remind the process of fixing the bolt by fixing the opposite bolt for preventing the misalignment of the device or the component which is being fixed. Yes, let me change the socket. So do you see the opposite? And then have taken this one for preventing the misalignment of the component which is being fixed or tightened. This one and this. Like this. Okay, good. So after fixing this, so let us fix this cover. Do you remember? Before fixing, you also have to clean and also clean the surface which is being, do you see, fitted, and then have to apply the silicone on as a seal. Here it is not being applied as a prevent of linkage, so it is here applied as a seal. So after being applied, you have to use your finger, as I have told you, for where applying. Do you see? Yes. You know that it is working as a pin. Okay, good. So after this, have to take your cover. This biggest one is where the primary shaft bearing is located. Do you remember that I have told you the process of turning this bolt on any device or any component? How to use the opposite side of the first bolt that has been tightened before. Let's start from this one. And then this one. So, then after, let me fix the bear. This one, it is adjusted. It means that it will be held inside of this one in order to fix in the right position where the bolt must be fixed on this bed on the gearbox housing. Do you see that? It is well fixed, and then after, let me fix it there. They are both. So let me change the socket. So, as I have told you, you have to find the position of screwing the bolt by using the opposite sides of the bolt which has been fixed before. So you see that our gearbox, it's in its normal state, in normal operation. Yes, as I have told you before, I've seen that for well understanding how the operating principle or the working principle for this gearbox, we'll be able to understand what is a gearbox. Do you know that? I have told you that a gearbox in one device or one component of the drivetrain component, which is therefore converting in engine speed and engine torque. Some types of manual gearbox, as I have told you that. Do you remember? We have sliding mesh gearbox. I have told you about constant mesh gearbox. Also, I have told you about the synchro mesh gearbox. And on the motor vehicle, we see that as the location of the gearbox, as I've started with. I've told you that is located between the clutch system, means that between those components of clutch system and the final drive. And its purpose is therefore facilitating idle speed whenever the vehicle is on a stationary position. It is also gearbox help us to the backward motion, backward moving or reverse motion. And to help the driver to change the gears depending on his desire, so as speed and torque depending on the road condition, or depending on the speed which is being needed by the drive. I think that we have achieved our objective, as I have told you. And then after reassembling the gearbox, means that whenever you are in the workshop, first of all, you have to keep well your tools. First of all, after reassembling any device while you are in the workshop, you have to clean. You have to clean what you have used. You have to clean where your tools. The tools. Here I have sockets. Yes, have to clean them. And yes, the tongues have the piria. Have to clean them. Have used also the cyclips piria, as I have told you. Have to clean them, and also all of those have used this hammer. Have used this hammer. Yes. So those are supernars. Have used also this chisel. These are chisel. So have used also this bench vise. Have to keep it clean. So this bench vise must be keep it clean. Keep it clean. You have to use this pump, lubrication pump, which helps us to spray the hydraulic. Yes. So as you have to keep well your material, the consumable materials. As petrol, the left one, we still have it. Will be used at the time. So, and this hydraulic. So, dear student from level 3, I've told you about, you are still learning about the drivetrain maintenance, as I've told you. I've started with a crash system. I think that you are well understanding what crash system is. And now, we finished to learn this new topic which concerns about the description of manual gearbox, or the component of synchromesh gearbox. So, I think that it is well understandable. But next time, I've told you the drivetrain is composed of all those devices which help us to make a vehicle moving. So, do you know that on the diagram circuit, I've told you after the gearbox, we have a propeller shaft. You know that we must take those speed that torques generated by or converted by the gearbox and being transmitted to the final drive. So, next time, we will see what is a propeller shaft, how does it work, how does it look like, what the component composed the propeller shaft. So, if you want another additional on this topic, you have to contact me on my contact number, which are 0788931137. Thank you for your kind attention.
Mubyeyi, urifuza guteganyiriza umwana wawe ejo heza? Gana mu mashuri ya apejerwa ariyo Lycée de Ruhango-IKIREZI hamwe na Emeru Intwari. Muri Lycée de Ruhango-IKIREZI tubafitiye amashami akurikira: CULINARY Art cyangwa se ibijyanye n'ubutetsi, hari level 1, level 3, level 4 ndetse na level 5. Food and Beverage Services tubafitiye level 3, level 4 ndetse na level 5. Tubafitiye kandi accounting cyangwa se ibaruramari level 3, level 4 ndetse na level 5. Tubafitiye n'ubukanishi bw'amamodoka mu byiciro bikurikira: Auto Engine Technology level 3, Auto Transmission and Control System Technology level 4, Automobile Transmission and Control System Technology level 5. Tubafitiye n'ubwubatsi masonry level ya 3, level ya 4 ndetse na level ya 5. Tubafitiye tourism ubukerarugendo level ya 3, iya 4 ndetse n'iya 5. Turabibutsa ko tubafitiye n'icyiciro rusange tonkome. Naho muri Emeru Intwari tubafitiye amashami y'umwaka umwe akurikira: Automotive Technology, ubukanishi bw'amamodoka level ya mbere, Hairdressing, ubwiza no gutunganya umusatsi level ya mbere, Tailoring, ubudozi level ya mbere, Masonry, ubwubatsi level ya mbere. Muri aya mashuri yombi tubafitiye abarimu b'inzobere harimo n'abaturuka hanze y'igihugu. Tubafitiye kandi n'amacumbi y'abakobwa ndetse n'ay'abahungu. Abanyeshuri bacu bakora ingendo shuri mu gihugu ndetse no hanze yacu. Tubaha umwanya wo kwimenyereza umwuga mu bigo bijyanye n'ibyo biga. Dukorera kandi graduation abanyeshuri basoje amasomo yabo. Aya mashuri aherereye mu mujyi wa Ruhango hafi ya gare. Ku bindi bisobanuro mwaduhamagara kuri 0788366219 cyangwa se 0722356668. Mwanaduhamagara kandi kuri 0788366213 cyangwa se 0788202282. Mwanadusura kuri website y'ishuri www.apejerwa.ac.rw. Umurimo ukozwe neza utuma batugirira icyizere.